I love the way Paul Williams, our lawyer, puts it, with the right comes the responsibility. We've always said that we need to find a way to protect what's there. I'd like to think that the indigenous nations have a feeling, an obligation, that if we don't protect these things, and that's why I keep going back to our very basic Mother Earth concept, or whatever I do believe their traditional feeling for the territory, then I think that we're just as guilty of selling out, because as we join the commerce, as we join the corporate, and we look for financial reward, we're not doing our job as Indigenous peoples. Our job should be to protect this. Our voices need to be part of protecting this. We don't need to give it lip service. That's what everybody else does. They say, oh, we're going to protect the whales, and meanwhile they're taking all the fish that the whales eat. No, we need to make it real. We need to let people know that this Indigenous perspective is something they need to buy into, because if they don't, the end product is total extirpation of species out of our territory, our waters, and that just means there is no future.
If you did all those things, there'd still be industry, there'd still be chemicals, there'd still be plastic. What are the other two things you do?
Well, let's go back to having all those. It's not that we can't have them, it's the moderation. It's funny that they talk about our moderate livelihood. It's funny we talk about the moderation of temperatures in our waters. What about the moderation of industry? What about their behavior and finding some integrity? So when you talk about what's in our territory, it's not the industry. The behavior of the people in that industry. They have to know that it's not acceptable to, as one fellow said to me while he was on his cage site and I was on the boat that was taking the samples, he said, you want to see a knot on tire? So he hauls his knife out, cuts the rope and throws it in the water. That was his knot on tire. I didn't think it was funny. So this type of behavior all over the place is contributing to what's going wrong in the bay. So when you talk about the things that are in the bay, beer bottles, what about tins? What about, it's all there. A walk on that beach and you couldn't avoid it. But the honest truth is, there's almost nowhere you can go on our beach where there's not a piece of rope sticking out of the sand. So rope, yes, it may be the biggest polluter, it may be the biggest source of plastic, but the others are all there too. Who still throws their garbage in the ocean? And it's not just in the ocean. I golfed in Campobello, a beautiful place. I went through the woods to look for a golf ball because that's where I usually find my golf ball. And lo and behold, I come out with my armful of beer bottles, beer tins, Coke tins. I don't understand why they think that they can throw it in the woods thinking nobody's going to see it. If they had thrown that in the golf course, I think they'd be embarrassed. But they go through the woods and just dump it. We have to change that mentality. We have to find a way to stop that. That's why they throw it in the ocean. They're thinking, oh, nobody sees it, or if it floats and bobs around on the surface, nobody's going to know who did it. So we have to, I think, not only find ways to change the thinking, I think we need better policing. I think we need laws, rules, regulations enforced that hold people accountable. We don't understand when people do things like that. That's a crime to me. Destroying animals is a crime. Destroying fish, destroying waters, destroying air, these are crimes. So we can talk about the wonderful way we present things, pollution, sounds almost harmless. Or we can talk about the quality of the air. We can talk about, I'm not sure, but we don't even call it garbage anymore. These are waste disposal facilities. We're softening the language for what is going wrong here. I think the word crime is appropriate. I think the word criminal is appropriate. I think punishment for crime is real. I mean, they want to punish me for not wearing a mask, but somebody can pollute that whole body of water behind me, and they've got money to lobby Canada, so they can actually get funding from Canada. So Canada's part of the problem. All Canada needs to do is say to these industries, no, there's too much in the water, there's too much damage. When you clean up your act, we help you and we support you. And I think that it comes down to a bit of crime, punishment, and I think that proper policing, proper management, good rules and regulations that apply to everybody would do a lot.